What's up, YouTube? Blazedog here. Today we're going to be discussing the 3 Galar variation of the kantos birds and how well they will be used in competitive play, and some sets that I've used and seen, and some ways I think they'll be played, and how well I think each one of them will do. So today we'll start with Zapdos. Zapdos is a fight and flying type, which honestly I don't think is too great. I'll go ahead and say it. I did talk about him in my top 10 video. After playing him more and seeing how the meta is kind of shaping, my opinion of him has dropped significantly. I think Defiant is a phenomenal move, like a phenomenal ability. It saves him from Lando, Incineroar, etc. I think is crucial in this format. But we'll start diving deeper into the issues we have. His weaknesses: electric, which is not good with Thunderous around. Ice, Metagross is taking Ice Punch. Flying, everything has flying. Psychic, quite popular, and Fairy with Tapu Fini. These are not good weaknesses to have with the current format. So we'll go ahead and just look at his stats right quick. 90 HP, 125 attack, 90 defense, special 85, special defense 90, speed 100. So he's decent overall, decent speed tier, decent attack, and decent defense. So it's nothing crazy. So we'll go ahead and talk about his move pool and a set that I like. If we can't get this zoomed in. Cool. So this set right here is a set that I see a lot of people running. I don't think it's necessarily the best set because I feel like they're trying to max him, and I honestly don't think he's a good Dynamax mon. And the reason I don't think he's a good Dynamax mon simply due to the reasoning of the Max Knuckles is just not good. It's not a good. And then the Max Flying move is good, but there's just so many more things that can do it. I feel like to really utilize him, I don't think you use him as a max threat unless you get the Defiant buff. So, but what we got here is Life Orb with Defiant. With Thunder, Escape, Protect, Brave Bird, U-Turn. He's in a pretty good speed tier, 167. So it does allow him to pivot if you think they might lead Intimidate, and they don't. You can just pivot him out if it's not safe. Which is very helpful. And if you do with Intimidate, you have Brave Bird and Thunderous Kick. I do think this can be changed with like close combat. I think it's just as good, honestly, if you just want more damage. A Life Orb just to kind of boost him on up and get more. And then we're running like a 252 attack, 252 speed. I think speed's a little bit more valuable on him than attack, just due to the fact that his attack's already pretty high. Another set, and this is the preferred set I like to run on him, is Choice Scarf Defiant. With U-Turn, Brave Bird, Thunderous Kick, Blaze Kick. And this is also with the speed. I don't think he needs to be... I would run him Adamant though. I think this still outspeeds... I think that's how you want to run him. I think you still would outspeed Regieleki. I'd have to double check. If not, though, you would just put it in speed to make sure you outspeed him. Or you would have to run some kind of redirect because he is a menace. And one of the reasons why I just don't think Zapdos is that good. But Choice Scarf, as you know, as some of you know, maybe you don't, but it basically gives you 1.5 speed, which would make him 223. Something like that. 75, 226. 228, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I like this set more because of the U-turn pivot. Makes it more valuable, much easier to do. I think that's very good. Blaze Kick, just to give you the fire for the Amoonguss, which you really don't need, but the Kartana. Blaze Kick, so this kind of leads into another issue. Looking at his physical moves, I just don't think he has that many great ones, right? Blaze Kick, Close Combat, Steel Wing, maybe. I could see that one being decent. U-turn, and then like Stomping Tantrum, Dual Wing Beat. These are not great. Just to put it, these are not great. But if you didn't want to run Brave Bird, like Steel Wing would be fine. Now, if you just wanted the Steel type move, but the issue at hand is I just don't think he fills the role of being like a heavy hitter. Because his Dynamax is so weak. There's just so many things that can hit harder than him that's flying that are just like better. They don't have those weaknesses, and they're either faster, they hit harder, or something of that nature. So honestly, my opinion of him has kind of dropped tremendously, unfortunately. I do think it may be interesting. I do think there can be some interesting sets for him that could come out. But as it stands, I do think he is the weakest of the three birds. So we'll move on to Articuno. Articuno here. We did not talk about him in my top 10 video because I had not seen enough of him, but I've seen a little bit more. I don't know how great I think he is. I just think he has some diversity. Psychic flying, similar to Lugia. Competitive. Very good. Same thing. When stats lowered, special attack goes up. Weaknesses, 2 to electric, 2 to ice, 2 to rock, 2 to ghost, 2 to dark. So there are some different problems here. The one that comes out to mind really quickly is Urshifu. Can be problematic. I don't believe you outspeed Urshifu. And that's just getting started. And then rock, Landorus. So there's some definite problems here. But we'll go to the stats. 90 HP, 85 attack, 85 defense, 125 special attack, 100 special defense, 95 speed. So this ain't too hot, honestly, these stats. But special attack's good, special defense is alright. But the issue with like rock being a weakness is Landorus, just a heavy physical attacker. I don't know if I consider him a max candidate either, honestly. But we'll go ahead and take a look at a couple sets. This is probably the best set for him, I think. We used the Walking Berry, which is just for electric type, because I think electric is a little bit more common right now than rock, but you can change it for rock or something like Assault Vest or anything of that nature. And I used to Protect, Recover, Freezing Glare, Hurricane. You can easily switch Recover out. He has plenty of other decent moves. And you feel like Hurricane, you do Air Slash. I don't think you do any of these besides maybe Shadow Ball. And I guess you could do Ancient Power Ball. I think it's great. But he kind of runs into the same issue. His move pool, not so great. Honestly, it's just not that great. And I run like high HP, high special attack, just to give him a little bit more survivability. Because he does hit hard. 194 is nothing short. But yeah, I think Recover's alright. Because like, if you get into a couple 1v1s, he just auto wins it. It's quite nice, honestly. But again, I don't know if I think he's a max candidate unless you get the competitive boost. Once you get that, then yeah, you're free to run wild. The set that I've been seeing that kinda has been pretty good, but not great, I don't think. Same item, the Walking Bread, which you can change, but it's Trick Room. And it's minus speed, obviously, nature. Minus speed, 0 LVs is 90, which isn't like slow, but lets you reinvest into different things. You can go special defense if you want bulky, like to help the Trick Room. Or you could even go like plus special attack and like adjust your IVs to like maybe something like that. Give you some bolts, some special attack, or you can just go 252. Which is where I would start before I made like hardcore changes. And the reason the Trick Room variation kind of makes it interesting is just due to the fact that you don't know. You don't know if he's a Trick Room setter, you don't know if he's not a Trick Room setter, so he's kind of always at that threat of he could Trick Room, or he could not Trick Room. So he kind of gets a lot of priority done to him. And again, I just don't think his move pool is that good. That's kind of where like the issue falls with him. But if you get the competitive boost, he can be a very, very problematic Pokemon. And if he gets Trick Room up and you wasn't expecting it, also very problematic. So I think he has more diversity than Zapdos, which is what makes him better at the moment. But I don't know if I think he will stay better than Zapdos, I guess we should say. Next up, we have Moltres, which I think is the best of the three birds by a significant margin. You have Berserk, which is boost special attack when it goes below half health. Weakness is electric, rock, fairy. You have less weaknesses than the other ones. Ice as well. So you have like kind of the same weaknesses as the Zapdos, but you don't have the flying weakness, which is huge because everything in the format has a flying move. We'll go to the stats right quick. 90 HP, 85 attack, 90 defense, 100 special attack, 125 special defense, 90 speed. Slower than the rest, bulkier than the rest, which I think is super important in this format. So we'll look at a couple sets. This is a set I see very common. It's a weakness policy. Which, if you don't know, when hits by a super effective move, it gives him +2 to attacks and special attacks. Now, Fiery Wraith is his new move. Hits both targets, 90% accuracy, 20% chance to flinch. Very good if you combine it with like a Lando Rock Slide. Shadow Ball just hits the ghost. It's pretty effective, but you can change it. Hurricane and Protect. I do think he has a tad bit more diversity, as you can go like Snarl to make it more of a support mon. But that's about it, right? So you can kind of make him like a bulky support, or you can make him with a weakness policy. And just to explain the weakness policy is you have like a mon like Comfy, right? Which healing moves have +3 priority. You just Draining Kiss. That procs weakness policy. And then when he gets below 50%, gets his Berserk proc, you go back to Comfy and you do Floral Healing. And you just boost him back up. Which is very, very powerful. So I do think weakness policy Moltres, it's kind of gimmicky. But if you're not ready for it, it's very, very powerful. The other Moltres set, now this is my personal favorite, is Assault Vest. And the reason I love Assault Vest is he already has pretty high special defense. It just kind of adds to it. And you're not so reliant on having something like Comfy or something like Togedemaru. And he's same thing. Lightning Rod, boom. You make him super weak, give him Volt Switch. You proc weakness policy. So you're not relying on anything like that. So he can stand alone with other mons, which I think is super important for him. Your moveset's kind of similar. You just add the Ancient Power. At least I do. You can add something different. That's completely up to you. There's tons of other things. You can even do Snarl if you want to. I think Snarl might even be better, honestly. Oh yeah, the EVs, IVs for the weakness policy is just 252 for 252, very standard stuff. But for this one, it's 252, 252 plus special attack. Now, the reason this one isn't like right, I just put 252 in HP, right? Because like his defense stats isn't good, so it helps his defense, but it also helps his special. It helps his special defense. It kind of boosts them both without actually boosting them. This can be refined. You can take this into a Picoletus damage calc and really refine this to get it more accurate to like survive things. And I think that is when you will get the peak Moltres. I've not refined it yet. This is kind of what I've just been using, what I've kind of been doing. But overall, I think this is the best Moltres set. Just because he stands alone. He doesn't need the Comfy. He doesn't need the Togedemaru. You can run it with Tapu Fini, Metagross, whatever, really. A Landorus for like the double flinch chance. Even though it is gimmicky, it does work. It's very powerful. And that's why I think he is the best of the three birds. We will be having some gameplay coming up of using the three birds to kind of just go over different things. If you enjoy this type of video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And I will see you all next time. This is Blazedog signing out.